Kumusta mga kabayan? Panoorin natin ngayon ang mainit na sagutan ni Senador Risa Hontiveros at Senador Bongo patungkol sa health issue mga kabayan.
Hindi po tayo kanina dun sa Concrete Tobacco and Alcohol Control Program. Masasabi po ba ng DOH na meron na tayong ganoon at magkano po yung ina-allocate natin para doon ngayong sa susunod, sa 2020?
Mr. President, tobacco control and alcohol control are in the lifestyle-related disease program. The program source its budget from the non-communicable diseases prevention budget. For 2020, 509 million is allotted for prevention and control of non-communicable diseases. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mabalik lang po dun sa bagong itatatag na Health Promotion Bureau. In terms of human resources for health promotion, magkakaroon ba yung Bureau ng technical personnel para mag-focus sa mga priority health issues tulad din nga ng tobacco at alcohol, pati yung road safety, for example?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. President. And lastly, tungkol dito sa Bureau, sino po sa DOH yung magiging in charge sa pag-oversee ng development itong Health Promotion Bureau? Pwede bang magkaroon ng high-level official ng DOH? Magtataya na siya yung magsisiguro na yung Bureau ay magfa-function ng maayos at i-deliver nito yung mandates na nakapaloob sa UHC law?
Yes, Your Honor, it will be headed by Yusek Mario Villaverde of the Department of Health, Your Honor.
Alright, very good news, Mr. President. Salamat po. Tungkol naman po sa mental health law concerns, yung pagpupunto nito. It's been a full year already since we passed the mental health law. And I know that we already have an IRR. We've already convened the Philippine Council for Mental Health. I'd like to be updated on the developments in the implementation of the mental health law. First of all, gusto ko sanang malaman kung yung multi-sectoral strategic plan para sa MH ay na-draft na. If you will recall, the appropriations for MH in the law for the coming years will be dependent on this plan. So kung meron na pong strategic plan na to, kasama na po ba yung components nito sa ating proposed budget?
Updates on the mental health law. We developed guidelines for informed consent to treatment, exemptions to informed consent, advanced directives, legal representatives, and supported decision making. And they formulated a 5-year strategic plan for the implementation of the mental health law. Anyway, ongoing drafting of the guidelines for the community-based mental health care program.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, good news na na-draft na yung plan and in fact, binubuo na mismo yung guidelines para dito. So yung components po nitong 5-year strategic plan, meron na po ba dito sa ating proposed budget?
The proposed budget for 2020 for promotion, it's 6.1 million. Governance 31,308,400 pesos. For services, it's 197,167,500, and for information, it's 159,500,000. May kulang pa po, no? 84 million will still be needed to fully fund all other activities of the program for 2020, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, good to know na may ilang components na reflected na sa ating proposed budget. And noted ko po yung sinabi ng good sponsor kung ano pa yung kailangan para ma-fully fund yung implementation ng mental health law sa 2020. I noticed, however, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. President, that mental health doesn't have a separate line item in the National Expenditure Plan. So I see a head from DOH shaking. So this is incorrect. We do have a separate line item sa National Expenditure Plan. Can you confirm that, Mr. President? Importante pong kung ma-confirm yon dahil the law also establishes a mental health division.
Hindi po siya kasama sa mga line items, Mr. President. But it is a part of the prevention and control of non-communicable diseases program.
Si Mr. President, so tama pala yung premise nung tanong ko. Bakit po walang separate line item? Considering nga po that the law establishes a mental health division. At matanong na rin, ano na po yung status ng establishment nitong division na ito?
The strategic plan has to be approved first because that will be the basis for the basis for becoming a line item of 2021 budget, Your Honor.
I understand, Mr. President. So at least mabuting malaman na kinocontemplate natin na sa NEP ng 2021, magkakaroon na po tayo ng line item, separate line item para sa mental health. I suppose, Mr. President, ibig pong sabihin yan ay by then, na-establish na po yung mental health division. Tama po ba yon, Mr. President?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Okay, yung next points na tanong na kanina in relation sa HFEP and HRH budgets sa mental health. Last na lang po dito sa funding ng mental health law, considering that one of the objectives of the MH law is to promote an environment that is conducive for the advancement of people's mental health, meron po ba tayong mga interventions na i-educate ang mga tao sa mga komunidad tungkol sa mental health at kung paano mag-deal with sila sa mga common mental health concerns?
Yes, they have a plan, Your Honor.
So there are planned interventions, Mr. President, reflected na rin po ba dito sa ating proposed budget?
Yes, Your Honor. They have a plan for the community community mental health program, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Tungkol naman po sa funding ng First 1,000 Days Law, ano po yung current data natin sa stunting? Bahagyang nabanggit din ito ni Senator Amy kanina. Stunting or low height for age, at ano po yung current data for wasting o low weight for height sa mga batang under 5 years old. Naalala ko po, Mr. President, nung dinedeliberate natin yung 1,000 Days Law, yung data noon ay around 30% para sa stunting at saka 7% for wasting. Ito pa rin po ba yung ating mga numero?
3 in every 10 Filipino children under 5 years of age are stunted. The stunting prevalence reduction is very low due to the following. Various factors that are not within the control of the health sector alone, like poverty, employment, livelihood, and access to food and other services, low education of mothers and caregivers leading to poor child care practices, and third, poor access to water and sanitation facilities that bring about infections and diseases, Mr. President.
So confirm nyo po, Mr. President, 30% pa rin nga po for stunting. At tama po bang 7% pa rin for wasting or nag-iba na po ba yun?
5.6 for...
Thank you, Mr. President. So at least medyo bumaba na. No, and then I'm sure the DOH will continue to work on this. Under the Kalusugan at Nutrisyon ng Magnanay Act, it was clear that the National Nutrition Council was given the mandate to spearhead government efforts to fight malnutrition, especially among young children. Also, reduction of stunting and wasting among children under 5 and addressing the nutritional needs of adolescent girls, pregnant and lactating women, and older women are among the specific targets under Sustainable Development Goal number 2. Pero, pag tinignan po natin yung listahan ng NNC ng Organizational Outcomes and Performance Indicators, wala pong specific articulation ng mga targets na ito. Bakit po ba ganon?
For a moment, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. President.
The National Nutrition Council is multisectoral and composed of different national government agencies. The DOH might consider in including it in their organizational outcome, Your Honor.
Including targets for reducing stunting and wasting, Mr. President.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. President. So, actually, unahan nyo na rin yung huling tanong ko tungkol dito na at the proper time, would the NNC be amenable to include reduction of the prevalence of stunting and wasting sa kanila nga pong organizational outcomes in the General Appropriations Act? If we say now that the baseline is 30% stunting at sabi nyo po 5.6% wasting, importante mag-set talaga ng targets in terms of reducing these by the end of 2020. So, magiging amenable po ba ang NNC maglagay po ng number, target, para maisama na rin po sa proposed amendments ko sa good sponsor at the proper time?
According to the Department of Health Secretary, Secretary Duque has already instructed to set the target, Your Honor.
Thank you, good sponsor. And Mr. President, through the good sponsor, iintayin ko na lang po yung malaman yung targets na yon para mailagay nga po sa proposed amendments at the proper time. So, lastly po tungkol sa first 1,000 days law, as was mentioned, NNC was given specific mandates in RA 11148. And one of these, Section 14D of the RA, gave NNC the mandate to coordinate joint planning and budgeting of member agencies to ensure funds for relevant nutrition programs. Ginawa na po ba ito, Mr. President, ng NNC para sa current budget proposal? At pwede bang magbigay ang NNC, kahit in writing po, Mr. President, summary po ng mga nutrition programs and activities ng ibang mga member agencies, hindi lang ng DOH?
Anong masasabi mo sa issue na ito, kabayan? I-share ang iyong opinion sa comment section below at huwag kalimutang mag-subscribe at pindutin ang bell button para updated ka sa ating mga uploads.